Hey guys, Cookie here with another Helldivers 2 update video. As promised, the devs over at Arrowhead did come out with the second important buff for us to know from the patch notes. It is going to be the Railgun, and let's hear exactly what is going to be happening to it.
My name is Johan Pilestedt.
And I'm Niklas Malmborg.
Today we're diving into the patch notes of Helldivers 2. What have we done to the Railgun?
We booted it up again. The Railgun does a lot of damage to normal enemies. It didn't do that much to very large enemies. So we kind of quadrupled that from 60 to 225 in durable damage.
Okay.
Just in safe mode, it will be stronger. Normally, if you charge it up like close to full, you did 50% more damage. Now you'll do 150% more.
Does it still have the same overcharge time as before?
Yes.
Alright, so those are some pretty ridiculous numbers. As said in the video, the damage is getting increased from 60 to 225, and overcharging damage will be increased from 150 to 250%. That is incredibly significant. I'm going to bring in Swanee in on this now as well. Swanee, what are your initial thoughts finding out that the Railgun, I guess at least, is returning to form, if not more than it ever was before?
Well, yeah, it definitely sounds like it's going to be stronger than what it was originally. And, you know, before they nerfed it into the ground. Like, the Railgun was the go-to weapon that everybody used to take out Chargers, Hawks, tanks, like, Bio-Titans. And now they're making it even stronger. So, what I feel like is going to happen is they're definitely listening to the community. They're going to buff the hell out of everything. And then I feel like in the future, they're going to probably tweak the enemies and make them stronger, because I feel like they're going to make us as overpowered as possible in this update, so everybody comes back and is like, hell yeah, it feels amazing. And then they're going to tweak the enemies and make them stronger, because just this Railgun sounds on paper like it's going to just demolish anything that it hits. And I mean, that sounds like it's going to be fun. Like, I love being able to like take out Chargers pretty reliably, but I don't know. It sounds pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, like I said in yesterday's video, what Twinbeard was kind of alluding to is kind of what you're saying. Like, we're going to buff the hell out of the game, or buff the hell out of the weapons for the Helldivers, and then over time kind of adjust for it as we go, which probably is a good way to do it. I think they're just they're probably going to go too far, because I'm going to be honest, the Railgun sounds like it's going to be too powerful, but I think that might be a good idea at this point. Just overbuff at this point. Like, overbuff and then fix it later. I think that might be the best way for them to do it, even from a PR standpoint. Yeah, I would imagine the Railgun's not useless now. It's not awful. It's not very good right now, and it needs a buff, but I didn't think it needed a increase of like 400% on durable damage. So I think it's going to be probably OP. But like I said, right now, that's probably the way to go. I mean, based on the flame damage that we learned about yesterday, that's probably going to be a bit overpowered early on too. So these are things that we're going to find out. We don't get overpowered weapons very often. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if we've got an entire arsenal of stuff that's OP and actually does too much damage. See if that actually bothers people, or if they just won't care. I think it will bother people eventually, but you're right, at least initially people are gonna be like, this is awesome, I'm just blowing the crap out of everything. And I think that's kind of going to be the first impressions, and it looks like they're continuing that trend with the Railgun today.
I'm just worried that if they do buff enemies in the future, that people are going to freak out and be like, oh, well, they promised they weren't going to, you know, nerf things, and if they buff the enemies, then they're nerfing the Helldivers. Like, right now, the community is pretty all over the place. It's like, with the news that came out yesterday, there was still so many comments that I was seeing just in our comment section, on other YouTubers' comment sections, on the Reddit, on the Discord. It's like people aren't happy no matter what the devs do. It's like, well, it's too late. You should have listened 3 months ago. It's like, do you want the game to get better? Like, the devs are listening right now. They're trying their best. They've seen the feedback. All they can do is take the feedback and try to make changes based off of the feedback. So it's like, do you want the game to just fail? Like, they don't really have any other option. Yeah.
I think, like, what I don't understand is why they're still following the game if they don't want it to be successful. That part I don't get. Like, I get if you just left the game, like, screw this game, I'm not coming back, and never paid attention to the news anymore. It's like, all right, well, that's fair. I don't know why you're still watching the news if you don't want the game to succeed. That being said, I think that I do understand the idea of I'll believe it when I see it, because we have been there before. I get that part of it. But I think you're also right in bringing up that I could see this being an issue in the future if they start buffing all the enemies. I think what they should do is, and I'm assuming this is probably their plan, is to wait and see. Wait and see when the time comes that people start complaining that it's too easy. When that starts to happen, then do that, buffing enemies and stuff. I think that would be the smart thing for them to do, and that's probably what they're going to do. Because this is probably going to be too much. It's going to be a lot of fun for a while. We're like, oh, it's so much fun blowing everything away. But eventually people are going to be like, I kind of missed some of the challenge, though. And I think that's what Arrowhead wants to see. They want to see if that ever happens, because maybe it never does. Maybe people are like, nope, I love this game, just blowing the crap out of everything. I never forget a challenge. I don't care. Maybe that's what happens, and then don't do anything.
I feel like that's a better problem for them to have, too.
Right. It's easier for them to deal with. That's what Twinbeard kind of alluded to. It's much easier to just buff the enemies over time or something. And I do think that's more fun. Like you've always mentioned, like what's not fun is running out of ammo in these high difficulties. It is fun going up against a bunch of enemies with a lot of firepower. That's fun. And I think that's what they're trying to create right now. So next up, I did want to bring up something that Peelstead said yesterday in the Discord that I wasn't able to actually see, but thanks to someone on the Reddit that posted it, I actually can see what the full comment was now. Somebody said, I feel like it would be a nice little QOL addition if we could see resupplies from drop pods on the map. This person said they agreed with that so much, please add it. And then Peelstead went ahead and agreed and said it's in the works. So this is just an extra little piece of information that Peelstead threw in there. He doesn't say anything beyond that, so I don't know if this is on this coming patch or if this is something coming in the future, but it does look like at some point we could have resupplies actually show up on the minimap, which would be a great quality of life change.
Yeah, this would be huge. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is like when I'm playing with random people online and they call in the resupply and you have no idea where the resupply is and they don't ping it, and everybody needs ammo, but what really sucks is when they call in a resupply and then a charger runs through it and immediately blows it up, and then it sends the ammo boxes flying everywhere. So yeah, this is gonna be nice. I've been wanting this since day one, and I'm glad that they're finally listening and eventually going to add this.
I think there's a lot of stuff they could probably add to the minimap, but resupplies do feel like the one thing that's just kind of missing. It just doesn't make sense why it's not already on there.
I want some kind of perk or ability that will show like the location of samples. There's so many times where I'm like, where the hell is the final 3 samples? And I want some way to like ping them or something.
Yeah, something with the samples would be nice. I just wonder how they would do that, but yeah, because their system for it right now is kind of not fun. I guess is how I would put it. It's just there's probably a better way to do it. Some sort of perk making it easier would be a good idea too. So the last thing to bring up with all this positivity is a little bit of negativity, because right now there are some pretty serious connection issues happening for some members of the community, including us. So this Reddit post is from 7 days ago, talking about how they have constantly gotten this message over and over again saying connection failed, saying this is a new thing for them. They've tried to verify the game files on Steam. That hasn't worked. They've reconnected to Helldivers, restarted their PC, all the works to try to get this to work, and it just will not. And they are also pointing out that this is not a problem they've really ever had before. There are some people in the comments that have talked about a very specific connection issue, saying that they can't get to 3 players. When they get to 3 players, someone gets booted, then somebody else has to leave, somebody else has to come back, but then someone gets booted again. So this exact issue we've actually had with us and our friends. We haven't been able to play with 3 people for weeks. So this is a pretty massive issue that hasn't really been a focus for the Helldivers devs, but I would assume and hope that they're going to get this fixed, because nothing else matters if they can't fix something like this.
Oh yeah, like I don't care how good this update is. If I can't play with my friends, then I don't care about the update. And I don't know when this started, this problem, but we have a 4-man group and we cannot play with 4 people. We can't even play with 3 people. It's this weird, matchmaking issue, I guess. One person joins, and then the other person can't connect off the first person, so that person leaves, and then that person immediately connects. And we've tried everything. We've tried loading up matches and trying to join mid-match, and then it will just kick somebody. It's just, I don't know what's going on. So, and I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. I guess because player numbers aren't as high, so there's not as many people to notice this. Yeah, this is definitely a huge issue, and they need to fix their matchmaking.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, like I said, I'm assuming that's going to be part of it. Usually when they have these updates, they kind of do a clean fix of all crashes and multiplayer issues. But yeah, this is a pretty unusual one, and it's weird because they haven't really updated the game, so I don't know why this is suddenly a problem. There hasn't been any new content in the last couple of weeks, so I don't really get what the issue is. But for some reason, this has come up, and yeah, definitely needs a good refresh, or they're going to have some pretty serious problems. Peelstead did say yesterday that they are forming some sort of live support group, which might be able to handle this stuff in the future, which would be awesome. But again, like I said yesterday, not a lot of intel on exactly what that's going to be, but it does give a little bit of hope that they might have a quicker response system to this in the future.
But overall, I'm excited. Between like yesterday with the flamethrower, today with the railgun, them announcing that they're going to reveal more info every day, so obviously their communication is stepping up a little bit, and like, I want this game to succeed. That's why we're still covering it on the channel. Like, we love Helldivers. So I don't get this whole section of the community that's like, oh, it's too late, I don't want this game to succeed, they had their chance. It's like, you know, I want them to turn this around. I want players to come back. So I'm excited. If all these changes that they claim are coming to the game are actually in this update and they stay true to their word, I feel like this is going to completely overhaul the game. It's going to feel like basically like a relaunch of the game in a way.
Yeah, this sounds more significant than the update they had in June, which I was a big fan of. Made the game a lot more fun, and this sounds like they're doubling down and making it even more powerful this time around. So it's a very clear listening to the community. It's a very clear good sign. I just hope there isn't something like sneaky on there that ruins everything, like not fixing this multiplayer issue, where I'd be like, well, that's all nice and good, but the game doesn't work, or all this changes makes the game crash regularly, or they nerf something else horribly that kind of discounts all the changes they made. These are the kind of things that worry me, and I think that's what most of these people, well, I shouldn't say most, but some of them I think that I agree with would be saying, you know, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, I want to see that you didn't sneak something else in there to make all these changes not matter. So yeah, that's the only thing I think that can really throw this off course, because what they've shown so far is just really good changes. It should make the game a lot more fun.
I will say though that I really hope that they buff primary weapons. Like, so far they've talked about the flamethrower, they talked about the railgun. It's okay, like I'm down for stratagem buffs, but we really desperately need a couple of these weapons to be buffed, because a lot of the primary weapons just straight up suck. And there's like the pummeler, it's way better than that like Liberator concussive rifle or whatever it's called, and it's like some weapons completely outshine other weapons, so some of them definitely need some love, and I hope the devs like bring that up sometime soon.
We'll have to find out. I mean, we should have something else coming up tomorrow that gets buffed, so we'll have to see what that is. Hopefully it's something in the primary weapon, because yeah, they're mostly totally useless right now. There's like 4 that you can use. Otherwise, you're just kind of giving yourself an extra challenge. All right, so that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment anything you have to say about any of the issues we talked about today, or anything at all, down in the comment section down below. Be sure to subscribe if this is your first time here and enjoy what you heard and want to hear more of it. And go ahead and hit the bell for notifications as well. And smash the like button. It does so much for us and helps us spread this message across YouTube in the algorithm. So we would really appreciate that as well. And we will talk to you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.